body bags were whore lies.
Who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead?
Hey guys, happy Thursday, this is your fright chick speaking. Okay, so this week I am doing Critters 4. I'm doing Critters 4 because we haven't done Critters 4 yet, and it's the last one. It's the only one I think we haven't done. So yeah, it came out in 1992 and it stars Don Keith Opera again as Charlie, and we also have the guy that plays Ugg in it towards the end. But the rest of the people have not been in Critters movies before, but we do have Brad Dourif in this, he plays Albert. We have Angela Bassett in this, who plays like a pilot. And then it's literally set around like a crew. We're in space, of course. They always do this on the fourth movie. They go to fucking space. So we're in space, and it is a crew. It's a salvage crew, and they're literally just kind of working jobs, and they're on their way back to Earth, and it's taking ages. We have Ethan, who's a teenage boy who really wants to go there to see his dad. He's never been to Earth. I don't quite know how that works, how he's never been to Earth, but he's from Earth. That's weird. We have Rick, who's a bit of a douchebag captain. We've got some guy called Bernie, who's just, I don't know what the fuck he's in it for, except for critter fodder. But yeah, so we have the crew. They discover a pod floating out in space. It is the pod from the last few minutes of Critters 3, where Charlie put the cry eggs into the pod and he managed to trap himself inside. This is what's happened to it, basically. So the pod is floating around. They salvage it. They realise that it has corporation sticker on it, you know, like a logo, so they're not sure if they're allowed to actually salvage it, even though it is very, very old. But technically it does belong to the Tesla Corporation. I'm pretty sure it was Tesla. If I forgot that wrong, then I'm going to fuck the whole review. But yeah, so it belongs to them. So they contact them and they're like, look, we've got your pod, and find out they've been looking for it for a very long time. It's very important to them. So they're going to pay them a lot of money if they can take it to a space station that belongs to the corporation and basically hole up there until they get there and they can take the pod back. Do not open it, do not pass go, do not go to jail, etc. So they do this, but Rick, who is a douchebag captain, decides to get drunk and go and open the pod to see what's inside, and when he does, he unleashes the Krites. He also unleashes Charlie, who has no idea that he's in the future, which is a pretty funny scene when he's like, no, that's like looking at his driving license, and he's like, dude, this expired like 50 years ago. No, it's 1993, that's next year. And I'm just like, yeah, watching it now, it's even funnier. So he doesn't realise that he's in future, but when he does, he's like, right, well, if you've let me out, then you've let the critters out, so we need to take them. They don't believe him until Bernie, who goes off to the pharmacy to steal drugs, which is actually the only scene in this movie that I remember from when I watched it as a child. It actually really scared the shit out of me. He's in a bright white room stealing pharmaceutical drugs, and they realise, they're looking at like heat sensors and things, that the two critters are going straight towards him, and then he gets taken out in the room, and it scared the shit out of me. I think because there's a lot of blood, because it was bright white, so the blood showed up really clearly, and it was just, it's actually a really awesome scene even now. So he gets taken out and they're all on red alert. Holy shit, Charlie, you were right, we need to sort this out, blah 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 blah. So they do that, but Charlie, being given an old gun, like a really fucking old gun at this point in time, but to Charlie it's just like any old gun, he decides that he's going to use it because apparently future people don't know how to use a fucking gun. They can use a laser, but they can't use an old school gun that requires actual using your hands. So they give it to Charlie, and he manages to take down the ship because he starts shooting at the critters, but he manages to shoot like a console out, which means that their ship is fucked. So they're all pissed off at him. So they decide, right, okay, well, we're on our way to the big space station to get rid of the pod. So they manage to make it there, but it's dilapidated. It is completely fucked. The whole thing is deserted. It's just got a really backwards computer in it and just blah, blah, blah. It's just a horrible, horrible mess. But they realise they need to just hole up there. Also, it's probably going to destroy itself pretty soon because the reactor core is like leaking or something. So they have to wait, but the critters, of course, are on board, and they've got their own agenda. Now, I thought it was a bit weird how, I guess in the other movies, we have a lot of critters. We don't. We have 2 in this. At least I'm pretty sure we only have 2. Yeah, we have 2 critters in this whole film. So it's like, well, how is that going to be scary, and how is that going to be any good? Because before, you could have things like the big critter ball from the second one, or you could have the apartment scene from Critters 3, where you've just got them all over the place. You can't have that in this. But I think what counteracts that being lame is the fact that they are in space and they are stuck in one location. So it's not even like they can run away. If it was two critters at the farm from the first one, they could just run, but they can't in here because where the hell are they going to go? So two critters is scary enough for the fourth one, which I actually quite like. But yes, so that is literally what's happened, and they're just waiting for corporation to come and get them whilst trying to survive. And that is what, like, literally, once Charlie fucks the ship over and they get to the corporation space station, that's what the rest of the movie is. That is it. They are literally waiting there, trying not to get taken out, and then eventually, because the critters have got their own agenda where they're going to try and man a ship and go to Earth. Again, I swear they did this before. Of course, the corporation shows up, and who is now at the head of the corporation? It is Ugg. Ugg has turned fucking bad, people. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit anymore. He's like, Charlie, oh, it's so weird to see you. Yeah, so I don't really care if you die. I don't really care if any of you die. Just give us the critters. Give us the fright. That's it. So we have a little mini showdown at the end where, you know, I think Ethan, the teenage boy, finally manages to grow some balls and starts trying to evade the corporation's henchmen from taking them all, because they don't care if anyone survives. They just want the critters. He manages to kind of do a bit of a bargaining thing where he's actually juggling critter eggs. It was actually quite cool. He's juggling them and purposely drops a couple. It was actually awesome. And then, like, it's like, what's going to kill them first? Are they going to get shot in the head by a henchman, or is a critter going to fucking eat them? It was awesome. But yeah, we have a little mini showdown, and of course, some of them make it out, some of them don't, but they do manage to kind of get on a ship and go. Because how can you end a franchise where the critters win? You just can't. Come on. But yeah, I like this movie a lot. I like Angela, who is the space station's computer, where she is so old and no one's maintained the space station that she literally does everything that's opposite. So if you want a door open, you have to say, Angela, shut the door, so that she can open it. I actually quite liked that. I love Brad Dourif in this, is awesome. I love Angela Bassett in this, she's awesome. The guy that plays Charlie is great as well. It's clearly a role for him. Yeah, it's a fun movie. Like I say, it's all set in space, so there's not really much location. But it's a fun movie. They did it well. I mean, I think they took it seriously enough where you can enjoy it and go, hey, that looks kind of cool. Because if the whole thing was a joke, it would be really, really stupid and just not good for a franchise. But yeah, so that was Critters 4. That is the movie. I don't think I need to recap anything. But yeah, I will see you guys next week.